afternoon. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. What happens when approaching everything intellectually? What happens when approaching everything intellectually? 4 dimensions of intelligence. For me, Vigyan Bhairav Tantra becomes more important when we address issues that relate to our lives in many different ways. Everything in the mind is a word. Tree, tiger, ant. We know these as words. We have not felt the word within us. And this is the essence of university scholarships and awards. Now we know that planet is round. However, when we walk up and down this place, in my experience, and in your experience as well, it feels flat. But we know that the planet is round. We debated this for thousands of years, but could not figure out. It became clear only when we took off. We created some distance from the planet. You flew up there and looked down. Very clearly, the planet looked round. Man went on the moon, stood up there and looked around. 100% it became clear that the planet is round. There are 2 things, memory and information. And these are usually memory and information. Memory, that which comes from the past, and information that is stuffed in you through many ways, is usually mistaken for intelligence. Whatever you have gained in 25 years in the universities will be known in just half an hour through artificial intelligence. The true intelligence will blossom, making you as an instrument more important than the stuff in your mind. As such, what is important is the stuff that is in your mind. And you are the instrument. Instrument is not. When your intelligence blossoms, you as an instrument will become more important than the stuff in your mind. Long ago, a man who had big muscles was considered very strong and boss. And now, a man big muscles can get the job only as a security personnel. So too, long ago a man with too much information was considered intelligent, but not now. Too much information memory and information was mistaken for intelligence. So what gave us this clarity is the distance. When you are in it, you thought many number of ways but you could not figure it out. But the moment you had a distance, means you were on the planet, you could never figure out that the planet is round. The moment you created a distance, you got the clarity. So only in that context I say you must know how to keep your accumulations aside. If you are carrying a bag with you, you do not need to carry. You must keep your bag aside. If all the time you are carrying it, it will become a torturous process. This is what is happening to the people. And besides that, let your attention in life be always unprejudiced. Only then you will explode, otherwise you will remain constipated as far as intelligence is concerned. Who are you to decide whether a tiger is bigger than an ant, or you are more intelligent than the other? Pay real attention and you will come to know the creator who created an ant, the smallest creature, and the tiger or elephant, the biggest creature, paid equal attention to both. But we do not. If you pay real attention to everything around, you will know the Creator gave equal importance to you both. Insects are much smaller than tiger, elephant, lion, etc., and more dangerous as well. But if you go to the forest or somewhere, you can escape a tiger, a lion, an elephant, but not the ants and insects. When you come out from there, your whole body will be swollen. A small insect or a small creature. Nothing is wrong with your mind. It is just that all the time it is on and it is becoming torturous. Not knowing how to do it, they are sizzling it out with alcohol or something else. Essentially, they are unable to bear the activities of their own mind. Isn't it so? If you keep the bag aside for some time, at least every day, all that you have accumulated, it would be nice. You will not lose it because nobody is going to pick up your bag and go. It is for you, but once there is a distance between your mind, your information, your memory, you have an absolute understanding of nature of what it is. Only then you can handle it. Only the way you want it. Right now you are handling both body and mind accidentally. And when you do things accidentally, anxiety is normal. And that is why there is anxiety, And that is what is happening, because everything in life is accidental. There is no clarity about anything. Such is the nature of intellect. If I ask you, would you like your intellect to be sharp or blunt? You must choose right. Certainly everybody wants intellect sharper. Do you understand? Intellect is an instrument. It is a cutting instrument. It is like a knife. The sharper, the better. If somebody is very sharp, it is said he is a razor sharp intellect. Very sharp. So cutting instrument can be used for dissection, and with dissection we know many things, but not really complete way of knowing. Can I know you by dissecting you fully? Is it possible? Maybe I know you better by including you, by engaging you, rather than dissecting you. But dissecting you, I may know your heart, your liver, your kidney, your spleen, your other parts of the body, but I will not know anything about you. Only by inclusion I know about you. Do you use a cutting instrument? And with that, can you use to sew your clothes? Certainly you will have tatters. So this is what is happening with approaching everything intellectually. Everything is going into tatters. Adi Shankar in Nirvana Sutram, Nirvana Shatkam, when he was 5 years of age, wandering in Himalayan mountains, there he met a teacher. He was moving in search of a spiritual master. There he met Acharya Govindpad, and he asked him, "Who are you?" Shankar composed a composition of 6 stanzas. The first says, Mano Buddha Ahankar Chittani Naham. I am neither the mind, nor intellect, nor ego sense, nor chit or memory. These are the 4 dimensions of intelligence. I will take these one by one with their complete repercussion. There are different dimensions of intelligence. In yogic way, we look at intelligence as 16 parts. To make it simple, we can divide into 4 categories. These are buddhi, intellect, ahankar, ego, manas, mind, chitta, the memory. I'll explain these one by one rather than just literal meaning of that. The literal meaning of that, the sutra Mano Buddha Ahankar Chittani Naham Nacha Shrotra Jivena Prana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumir Tejo Navayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. The literal meaning is neither I am the mind, nor the intelligence, nor ego, neither am I the organs of hearing, ears, nor that of tasting tongue, smelling nose, nor seeing eyes. You are not that. You are the energy behind these. Neither am I the sky, nor earth, neither the fire, nor the air. I am ever pure blissful consciousness. I am Shiva. I am Shiva, ever pure blissful consciousness. Buddhi or intellect is the front end. This is essentially a survival kit. Intellect is considered as a survival kit. Why do you study? What is the purpose of education? For survival. Education does not mean that you are studying this for the flowering of your innerness. It is for survival. How to survive in the life, you must have education. Without your discriminating intellect, you will not be able to survive on this planet. You have to discriminate. Suppose an elephant comes from one side and a deer comes from another side. You must know which way to go, otherwise you will not survive. Such discrimination is constantly on, which is keeping you alive right now. Otherwise, you will not know whether to walk into the middle of the road or the center of the road or the other side. There is a discriminatory process which is keeping you alive. So intellect is considered as a discriminating tool. It is a survival instrument without which you cannot function. How does this survival instrument function? What is its nature? We will not go too much into it, but it is something that everybody must know, that without that discrimination, whether to accept this job or that job, whether to live in this city or that city, in this area or that, all is decided by the discriminating intellect. The second, which is most important, is called ahankar or ego sense. This means identity. What kind of identity you fix, that is how your intellect works. You fix an identity first, and your intellect follows your identity. Your intelligence works according to your identity. Right now you are sitting, and if I say, I am an American or British or something else, it defines the identity, and then you will act according to that identity. There are two words, religion and responsibility. Responsibility does not mean the way you understand. The ability to respond in a particular situation means responsibility. Religion has become more important in everybody's life. Religion without responsibility, the ability to respond, creates immature human beings. Religion without the ability to respond creates immature human beings. With ability to respond comes an identity that is cosmic. Religion must inculcate the feeling of how to respond in a particular situation, not a fixed. In India, there is a classical thing happening in our own generation. It was all one nation. Somebody drew a line and said this is India and this is Pakistan. Suddenly some line that suddenly drew, and nobody knows where actually the line is, and the dispute still goes on. Suppose you are on this side, you have one kind of emotions and thoughts. You are on the other side and you have a completely different emotions and thoughts. You are on one side of the religion, you have one sort of thoughts and emotions. You are on the other side of the religion, other side of the boundary of the religion. If this side is And if you are on the other side of the nationality of your bondage, then you will have a different emotion and thoughts. Just a piece of cloth, I mean flag. If you look at it with your emotions and thoughts, tears will come to you. People are willing to live and die for it. This is how identity is and guides your intelligence to function. Without any understanding, this is how it works. There are two types of identities: a small identity and a bigger identity. When you say, I am a doctor, as everybody says, what is your name? My name is Dr. So-and-so. Who are you? I am a professor. Are you really a professor? Or this is a profession by which you make your living? Or Hindu, or a Muslim, or Indian, or American? This is narrow, small identities, and we live with these identities. And when you say, I belong to the humanity or cosmos, your identity becomes inclusive. Your identity becomes inclusive. The moment you identify with something, your intellect serves that identity always. If you say, I am American, your intelligence will work that way. It will guide you that way. If you say, I am an Indian, intellect will work that. Intelligence will follow that. If you say, I am a man, intellect will always function as a man. And if you say, I am a woman, it functions that way. Intellect functions the way you say, whatever race, religion, nationality, anything, only to protect and support your identity. Your intellect supports your identity. This is how intellect functions. In modern societies, we have done nothing for this. People are identified with football clubs, cricket teams. All football clubs are nations by themselves. People fight and die for it. We have not cultured an identity, created an identity from the very beginning. When culturing an identity, in India there was a system. According to Hindus, there are 16 sanskars. So it is difficult to translate into rituals, sacraments. Certain things are performed. When a child is to be conceived, or the parents thinking of conceiving a child, a particular type of prayer is performed so that the child becomes an embodiment of something different, not that the way animals procreate. Then many things are done. Then no child is allowed to enter into education system unless a ritual or sanskar is performed that is known as Vidya Rambha. Vidya means education, Arambha means beginning. Beginning of the education. The first thing before a child starts education, a sanskar is performed that is known as Vidya Rambha, the beginning of education, beginning of the formal education. This is taking a universe, and in that what happened there? The Guru who takes them to their retreat asks, now that you have entered into the system, whose sannyasi you are? The child naturally says, I am the renunciate of you, Guru. He said, no. The first and the foremost sannyasi or renunciate you are of the Creator. That means cosmic identity. First, the cosmic identity is sown, the seeds are sown into you, that you are cosmic first. Then you are the renunciate of the Guru. And after that, they have to go and beg the alms. And the first person is that you have to do it from the parents. They give you the consent. This is taking a universal or cosmic identity. You are cosmic first, then American. This is the bigger identity than the smaller identity that I am an Indian, I am an African, I am American, I am this, I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian. These are the smaller identities. My identity is I am cosmic. That's why people from different nations, different castes and different creeds and different nationalities connect with me. Because my identity, my first and the foremost identity is unprejudiced. It is cosmic. It is cosmic. I belong to the cosmos. From there I came. Limited is that you belong to Trinidad and Tobago, you belong to America, but America is a bigger identity. You cannot live. You can be American, but you cannot live in whole of America. You have to live in a particular city. So you live in Washington, you live in New York, so you are a New Yorker. The second identity comes in, but the more important is you are American. Then comes in you are living in a particular area of New York, Manhattan, or somewhere else. So greater identity is a cosmic identity, that I belong to the cosmos, the Creator. He created me and He sent me to this particular place, and He gave me a certain responsibility, ability to respond, because I have that ability to respond. That's why I'm given that responsibility to take care of every creation. You are a creation of the Creator, not the American parents, not African parents, not Indian parents, not Hindu parents, not Muslim parents, not Christian parents. The first foremost reality, identity is you are cosmic. This is taking a universal. So unless the child accepts, and then this is sown into him, that the universal, the identity, only then you are entitled to be given the education. Then the first letters are sown in this. How could you should never empower a limited identity. If you do so, violence is the natural consequence. So tell me, what we are really fighting for on this planet, what we are fighting on this planet for, isn't it my identity versus your identity? I am an Indian, you are African. I am an Indian, you are American. Essentially, my identity fights with your identity. That is the conflict. Because I am identified with this, you are identified with that. Therefore, before you empower a human being with education and knowledge, first thing you must fix his cosmic identity. Not for monetary reasons. I am not giving whatever I have, I am not sharing it because I am getting any money from you. I am sharing it because it has been bestowed onto me with an intention that I will share it unprejudiced with whosoever comes in my company. This is used to be called Aham Brahmasmi. I am the ever-expanding consciousness. I am not a Hindu, Muslim, American, African, Indian, Chinese, whatsoever it is. I am ever-expanding consciousness, Chidananda Rupa, blissful, ever blissful. My form is unknown, that is expanding consciousness, Shivoham, Shivoham. Not identified with anything else. First thing the child must say, my identity is cosmic. I belong to the cosmos. Not those parents that are sitting with me. Not religion or nation or anything else. I love them. I love my parents. I love the nation. The child has to utter this, only then first alphabet was taught to him. Because education is seen as an empowerment. Tell me today in the world, are uneducated, illiterates people are causing more damage, or educated ones? Educated one with limited identity. Without cosmic identity, you are causing more damage. During the recent times of pandemic, the big nations were interested in making money over it. In Trinidad, I have known there are companies who are importing the sanitizers, and they make a sanitizer stand. They say they will do it with your logo, with your name of the business, where the temperature and the sanitizer is available to the people. What they are doing it for? Money. So big nations decided there are developed nations who could give the monies, and so there are underdeveloped and underprivileged nations as well who cannot afford. Which country came in support of that? Everybody was interested in making the money, because the very philosophy of India is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudha means the whole planet. Kutum means family. The whole world is my family. This is the identity that has been sown into me. For that reason, no one can deny that I have been prejudiced to this or that, to you or someone else. I shared my insights with everyone who is capable of, in whatever field they are. Someone asks me to explain certain things to them because I saw the potentiality in that person. Shared unprejudiced everything that I had, and keep on sharing that with each one of you. I do not know some of those who are listening to these talks or live streaming. I have never met them, but there is no prejudice. Unfortunately, the empowerment is happening without fixing a cosmic identity. With limited identity, if I study science and all kind of technology, what will you do? Certainly I am going to bomb you out. That is all I am going to do. If in my identity you stand against me, and I must do something about that. So whatever capability I have, I am going to use it. And that is what is happening all around us. Certain identities have not worked. That is a big problem. But intellect functions according to your identity. Intellect is like a knife. And we do not give knife to a child or to an ignorant one. Why? We do not give knife to a mad person. Knife is not dangerous. But child's hands are not stationary, and that is the problem. Tell me, if knives are taking more lives on this planet or making more lives. In the hands of a surgeon, it is a life-saving, and in the hands of an ignorant one, it is life-taking. It is making more lives both in the kitchen and on the surgery table. Here and there, it is only the irresponsible hand with limited identity that is taking lives, isn't it so? Knife is not dangerous. It is the hand, it is the limited identity that makes the knife dangerous. If there is no knife, just with the hands we will perform. Now the third dimension is intelligence. The first was the intellect, the second was ahankar or ego sense or identity. Ego sense is identity. It is because of identity one considers himself to be superior than the other, and one feels an inferiority complex in one. If you know something more, you feel yourself superior than the other. No, no one is superior than us. William Shakespeare said, "None so vile upon this earth that live." Everyone has something good to give. There is something good in every individual. People have come to me completely rejected by their own community, by the society. What seed was sown, and the seed was started blossoming, and they blossomed into a beautiful flowers, into lamp spreading their light in whatever field they have chosen to excel into. Now the third dimension is intelligence. It is called manas. This manas is silos of memory, which we are talking about 8 different dimensions. The elemental memory, the atomic memory, the evolutionary memory, the genetic memory, the karmic memory, inarticulate memory, articulate memory, and conscious memory. 8 dimensions of memory. Everything that has happened from the very beginning of creation here on this planet, from amoeba to now, everything, the memory of it is there in the body in some form or the other. Sometimes you get angry, you grind your teeth, which is the way the dogs do, that is canny teeth. But every day we are using this memory in an unconscious way. You are using this memory. Otherwise, if you forget one day, suddenly you will start going like a reptile. Memory, without the memory, without all that information, you will start walking, creeping like a reptile. No, it remembers the entire evolutionary process. And do not underestimate that. Do not underestimate this. Now that you also said that the planet is round, a simple thing with 2 legs to walk on the ground, on the round planet, which is spinning, is not an easy thing. Firstly, the planet is round, but we had considered it to be flat, and it is constantly spinning. It is really not a damn easy thing. You do not know how much is involved, the physics of it. Is very, very super complex. Those of you who are on the wings of alcohol, you understand how difficult it is to walk on a round planet. Or if you have a vertigo or something else, then you will understand, because it is a very, very complex process to walk on a round planet which is constantly spinning at the same time. But we are doing it effortlessly because of this process, this evolution that has taken from a single cell amoeba to present state when you are standing on your 2 feet. It is not simple thing. Moving from 4 legs to 2 legs is not in any way a small development. The whole lot of neurological developments has happened, but because of that we are unable to walk on two legs. So now this memory is acting all the time. An access point is identity. How you are identified, that is how you choose your memory, whatever kind of memory. Both of us may have the same kind of memory, but if I am identified one way and you are identified another way, you will choose your memory differently. Two people may be chef, but their memories may be different, so their intelligence will work differently. A whole lot of neurological developments have happened. Only because of that we are able to walk on two legs. So now this memory is acting all the time, and the access point of memory is identity, how you are identified. That is how you will choose the memory. Whatever kind of memory, both of us may have the same kind of memory, but identified with one way, you are identified in another way. We choose memory differently, organize memory differently, and act differently. For the same education, aren't people doing different things, different ways? In the same house, two children are born, same genetics, same food, same school, they are going. Are they not going like this differently? Because it depends on what kind of identity one has chosen. This disciplining or limitless identity, not this disciplining or limitless identity, not a limited identity, must happen at every stage. First and the foremost is cosmic identity, identification with that. Whatever profession you have, my profession, if I have chosen cooking, any kind of dish, I can cook. Whether it is vegetarian, whether it is non-vegetarian, whether it is sectarian, whether it belongs to whether using a particular kind of ingredients, if you have that intelligence, you can incorporate that ingredient into your cooking and make it. So your identity is, I am a chef, an international chef. What does it mean? Means your identity is international. Then you can cook any kind of dish depending on the circumstance and situation. This disciplining, this is a discipline to establish a limitless identity, an infinite identity, a cosmic identity, not a limited identity, must happen at every stage of life. Every stage, first and the foremost thing, you should never forget that I am cosmic. Each one of you has come from the same creator. Your body may have come from a different source, but not the being. If this does not happen, or intelligence works against us, that is what is happening in the world today. The fourth dimension of the intelligence is called chitta. This is unsullied by memory. An intelligence unsullied by memory. There is not an iota of memory in it. In intelligence there is no memory. Unsullied by memory. Not even a single iota of memory is there in intelligence. Intellect is full of memory. This is what normally in English language is passing off as consciousness. So where there is no memory, that means there is no boundaries. Memory is the basis of the boundaries. This is me, this is you. This is my memory versus your memory. This is my intelligence, that is your intelligence. This is me, that is stable. This is only way memory works in divisions. If there is no memory, there is no boundary. So going beyond these stages of memory is necessary for being a human being. You have known what does dog do? Their whole purpose of creating their boundaries, expanding their boundaries. And how they do it? It's not that dogs have a urinary problem. They use that process to expand their boundaries. So be not like that. Expanding your boundaries, going beyond those stages of boundaries is necessary quality of being a human being. Whatever capabilities you have right now, because of your exploration, because of your knowledge, science and technology, well, this is eating up the very basis of our life as well. The planet is going away. We have no solution for that. But we are going on and on simply because we have explored a bit. We have simply explored bits and pieces without grasping the entire dimension of what it is. Consciousness means you went beyond the boundaries of memory. Consciousness means you have gone beyond the boundaries of memory and grasp life as it is. Consciousness means you went beyond the boundaries of your memory and grasp life as it is. Now it does not matter how much knowledge you have. You do not know what is needed and nothing more than what is needed. That is what needs to happen in the world. Are you aiming for that? Are you heading in that direction? And when you have this understanding, this awakening or enlightenment, you can address the problems that we have around us, not otherwise. Through the memory, through identity, you can never address the problems that we have around us. Only through understanding, awakening and enlightenment, one can address the problems that we are having around us. Only this much for this morning. This is a part of a work that is, I have given it a name, Overflows of Inner Flowering. I took the first aspect of it, what happens when I am approaching everything intellectually in 4 dimensions of intelligence, then only through this kind of awakening, this kind of understanding, this kind of enlightenment, you can address the problems that we have around. This is the second part of it. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.